When I first turned on the episode, I thought this was going to be a clip show.
Yeah.
Of course, we're Superman and Lois. So that's what we're talking about. Um, this was an amazing episode. This was directed by Gregory Smith, who was on Everwood, Rookie Blue. He's directed a ton of TV. It was written by Brent Fletcher. And I felt like this is the first time, like, we got to see just how expansive the Superman world is. Because this Superman was always... this is a spinoff of Supergirl. And they made Supergirl the protector of Earth, not Superman.
Yeah. And it gives us... I still remember when we first started talking about this show. And I said, this show had me when he saves the kid. The kid says, nice suit. And he's like, thanks, my mom made it for me.
Right.
And that instantly sold me. That instantly sold me on this show.
And we got to see that whole scene this time.
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah, and I like what we see a little training montage where it took some nods from Man of Steel, but it added to it. I love what Jor-El says to him, like, you have to figure out why you want to do this.
Right.
And you have to live
speaking
among
of
these
Jor-El,
people.
let's all pour one out.
Yes. For Robert the Bruce.
Robert the Bruce. Yeah, this... God, I know we say this every week, but man, like, this show is just so good. Like, and it's entertaining. That's the thing. It's Tal-Rho, Morgan Edge. Like, since they made that reveal 2 episodes ago, they have only made that character cooler every week.
Yes, because one of the things you said is he was very much a reminder of Zod in Man of Steel.
Well, my
in the sense
biggest
of what his
fear was that he was Zod.
Yeah, which we're very glad thank you for not doing that. Thank you for not doing that. But in this episode, when he's fighting Clark, or he's fighting Cal, what he says is he's so hurt by by Clark rejecting him.
Yeah.
That's what he looks at it as. And when you see a little bit more of his history with his father, or his own Jor-El, you can see why.
His Zeta-Rho.
Yeah, Zeta-Rho. And not just that, but also how he was first greeted when he came to Earth, and how he was experimented in prison. So you understand his point of view, not only in the sense of why he hates humanity, but also he's thinking, hey, this is my brother. I know he's lived with humans, but I think once he realizes who I am, he'll come to me. He'll come to my side. He'll be on my side. And then that pain and anger of being rejected, of him, like, having an exclamation with emphasizing each word he says with a punch about you rejecting me and this. And then what does he do with a person like that? What he does when he's hurt, he lashes out and he tries to hurt the person that hurt him as bad or worse than he's been hurt. And he does exactly that.
Yep. I mean, Edge, Tal-Rho. I like calling him Tal-Rho. That's just fun to say. I mean,
yeah, I like that.
He went to the farm.
Yes.
Jordan tried his best. This I'm at a loss for words because I enjoyed this episode so much. I liked the flashbacks. I really did. I liked in this version that Lois fell in love with Clark.
Yes.
And not Superman. And I love that scene where she's like, is superhearing one of his powers? And he just did that wave. Like, I heard everything. But then seeing Clark take her back to the farm and talking to Martha to reveal everything to Lois this is why I love Tyler Hoechlin's version of Superman so much. He's the he literally is the perfect balance of the two characters, of the two sides of the character. Let me rephrase that. I feel like we didn't get to see enough of Henry Cavill as Clark Kent.
No, absolutely we didn't. No, we didn't. No.
But I think he's a pretty damn good Superman. I thought Christopher Reeve was a good balance. I thought Brandon Routh did a great imitation of Christopher Reeve doing the balance. And I actually thought Brandon Routh's Clark Kent was the stronger version of that portrayal. Just because his Superman didn't get to do much of anything. But this, and obviously Tom Welling was just Clark. He never got to be. He was the red, blue blur. But at least he wasn't the streak. Anyway, seeing the a brief reminiscence in between cataclysmic events. I mean, the cataclysmic events are him learning who he is from Jor-El the first time he throws the Heartstone down, wondering why it took him to the Arctic. To meeting Lois, to protecting her from Atom Man, and to the birth of the kids, to his marriage. Those are like they're all cataclysmic events in his life. Some are good, some are bad. And the way that Tal-Rho used the Kryptonian technology to dig those out, to learn everything he could about him, was about as vicious a thing as a villain could do to Superman.
Yes, absolutely. And going back to Tal-Rho, or staying along those lines, I love how it was how he's such a diametric opposite, in the sense that he built his fortress in the desert, and his reasoning was, I like the sun on my face.
So here was the thing that I found interesting, though, is he built it in the desert, but he chose the desert.
Yes.
Clark's Heartstone, Jor-El's Heartstone led him to the Arctic, and when it got to the place it wanted to be, it stopped transmitting, and he dropped it and kind of gave up. So yeah, and the loss of Jor-El is going to be huge.
Yes.
There's never been a time that I remember that he hasn't had the wisdom of Jor-El to help guide him. So this is uncharted. This is uncharted waters for a Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because this version does not have his mother either. So
yep.
All connections with
actually, you know what? Technically, he does, because he has the Eradicator.
Yeah, that is true.
And Laura Van Elle is still in there.
And I was going to say, we still don't know if there's, because again, this was more about Clark's journey to becoming Superman. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yes, we get a little bit of snippets here and there. We get the Jordan and Sarah finally making that, hey, I don't want to be friends anymore.
Yeah.
Friends anymore.
That was sweet.
Cute. That was sweet. Yeah.
I like Jonathan's response to that. Just kind of teasing him. That was a good, there's just a good brotherly moment. And here's the thing, like last week, we felt like they used the twins a little too much. This week they used them just the perfect amount.
Yes.
I smacked the arm of the boob. Anyway, again, Tyler Hoechlin, Bitsy Russell, or Bitsy Ter-Loc, their chemistry is amazing. I feel like you feel like this is a couple who loves each other more than anything. But man, just the Morgan Edge, Tal-Rho, Clark Kent, Kal-El, Superman dynamic this week really put this over the top. And just looking at Adam Rayner, he's crushing it right now. Just like Eric Valdez does with Kyle. Like I think and Wole Parks does with John Henry Irons. I really think they picked the right foils for Clark and Lois in this show, and the actors who do it really help. They all bring the best out of each other. And this is again where like it scratches that Smallville itch from like later in the run when we got past Tom Welling face. And, you know, you had that last little bit of Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling on screen, you know, 60% of the time. Just Michael Rosenbaum lifting Tom Welling up as much as he possibly could. And then Tom Welling taking the reins and running with it and making it his show.
Yeah. This cast, and this is not something, I mean, we've said this maybe every week or of this show, but again, they continue to impress. Like Kyle, he doesn't have a lot of space here, but you know, his short conversation with Lois is great. I mean, where he's like, look, you know, I've been an ass this whole time. You were right. I'm sorry about that. But he's always been coming from a place of he's lived in Smallville his whole life, and he's wanted what's best for the people of Smallville, and he thought that Morgan Edge was that person.
Right. Well,
so it's not.
Yeah. And to your point, we're actually shown that in one of Clark's flashbacks when he first comes back to Smallville after his little sojourn around the world and time in the fortress learning to be Superman. And he goes back to Smallville for Lana. And we see Lana is married to Kyle at this point, and how excited he is that he got a job at the fire department because it's a way he can protect Smallville. And I thought that was just a great scene. And it was also interesting because it pushed Clark to find who he was meant to be with, not who he thought he should be with. So, yeah. I have a gigantic smile on my face just thinking about this show right now. Just, it's so good.
I mean, I'm thinking back to all the shows I've watched in the last few years, and we've watched some good ones. Yeah. You know, you have things like The Mandalorian. You have, you know, with me, I've watched Supernatural and
The Expanse.
You know, The Expanse, and no show.
Succession.
The only show for me that makes me smile like this, and I'm not saying this is the best show I've watched in 5 years, because, you know, something like The Expanse is just so good. But no, the only other show that has made me smile like this when I know I'm about to watch it, can you take a guess what it is?
Ted Lasso.
No, because I've never watched Ted Lasso yet.
I don't know what. Supernatural.
Cobra
probably.
Kai.
Oh,
Cobra
Kai.
Kai.
Yeah.
It's that same type of just unadulterated joy.
Yeah.
Because of the writing, because of the acting, how they bring stories together, and you know how they lean in certain parts to nostalgia, but also formulate and clear out and follow their own path. Both of these shows do that in different ways, and I love them for that. And again, it's not like me saying that these are the best shows, but these shows put those two shows, Cobra Kai and Superman and Lois, put the biggest smile on my face when I know I'm about to watch them.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I mean, Ted Lasso is definitely one of those ones that would do that for you. Cobra Kai, 100%. So, yeah, I think meeting Zeta-Rho was interesting. He had a very like Baron Harkonnens, or Harkonnen, sorry, to him, you know, from Dune, with the way he was training Tal, and kind of the purification through pain, and ending the episode on that note where Superman, in order to save his family, showed up on the farm and bent the knee, right? Like, forget son of Jor-El, kneel before Zod, son of Jor-El, kneel before Tal-Rho, and do so willingly. It was so interesting to see him have something to lose and to see what lengths he'd go to as a dad. Again, Clark Kent, nerd dad, best part of this version. What lengths he'll go to protect them. Especially after he just got beaten down like mercilessly in the Fortress of Solitude. Which again, not jobbing Superman out, because Tal-Rho would be stronger. He was there longer. He was already older. He came into his powers he was able to come into his powers much faster. And he also spends more time in the sun, soaking up those lovely, UV rays.
And add to all of that, remember, Clark expended a lot of his solar energy using the Eradicator.
Yeah, he was maybe at like 40%.
Yeah, so this is absolutely not jobbing Superman. This was actually this is the writers knowing, hey, we put our hero in the worst possible situation, a situation he cannot physically win. And what would he do when his family is threatened, when he knows he cannot win this fight?
Break his neck. Oh wait, wrong movie. Wrong Superman. No. No, you're right. And and then going back to the desert fortress and Zeta-Rho's, he will be purified in pain. Was just awesome. I loved every second of that. And then we get Red Eyes Superman coming up, and Lois calling John Henry Irons like, hey, Johnny boy, I need your help.
I am very excited to get Wole Parks back on the show. I've missed him.
He's been missed. And I know Wole Park doesn't listen to our podcast, but if anyone ever sends him this clip, the episodes without him, like even as good as these episodes are, they would be made better with him. Yeah,
he's great. Like I told you, I loved him in his short stint on All American, but he's even better on this.
Yeah, I love him in Premium Rush. He's such a dick in that movie. It's great. Like looking back at this now, like maybe it's not John Washington. Shoot. See, I don't even remember his name now.
John David Washington.
John David Washington. Like, forget that. Like, let's have Wole Park be Black Panther. Anyway, but no, and just calling that, and I really, like, we were joking before we started this segment, but I really hope they don't do the love triangle thing.
No, don't do that.
I want it to be all business. I do want them. I do want him to come back with the steel suit with the Superman symbol on it, though.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing.
Just to remind Clark of who he is.
I'm the Man of Steel.
Yeah. No. To remind Clark who Clark is.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But he is also the Man of Steel.
Yeah, they're both the Man of Steel. They're the Men of Steel. They're the Steelmans, Daryl. The Steelmans. All right. So let's say out of 5 crushed Daddy Heartstones, Daddy Jor-El Heartstones, what do you give this? Let's just call it the 2/3 season finale.
I give it a 4.5. It's this show. And one of the things the first thing I wrote is 11 weeks and the show continues getting better. It giving us that jump back into time and watching Clark become Superman and him and Lois fall in love. Like the scene where she's basically telling him, hey, why don't you stay here? And he's like being, the gentlemanly Clark, and she's like, what do you like? And he says, I like it here. And she's like, what do you like better, the story or the company? And he's like, I think that's kind of a trick question.
Right.
And I'd love those little scenes because, Tyler and Elizabeth work so well together. Now, the absolute worst thing about this episode is that July 13th is the next one.
Right.
So that was one of those heart-crushing things when I saw that. I'm like, what? But yeah, overall, it's just another great episode.
Yeah.
We got so much more from Morgan Edge / Tal-Rho.
Yep.
this just keeps getting better and better, and I'm just really excited to see how we ended these last, I think, 4 or 5 episodes. I can't remember. Is it 16 or 15? I'm drawing a blank
What are we at?
on which
10?
one
This was
it is.
10?
This was 11.
Wait, no, this was 10. There's either
But I don't know how many.
There's 15 total. You're right. I'm sorry. This was 11.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay, so there's 15.
Yeah, and the last 2 episodes are directed by Tom Cavanaugh.
Oh, interesting.
So just putting that out there. But yeah, I'm going to go right there with you with a 4.5. And I am also kind of docking it a little bit because I don't want to wait, until July 13th to watch more. Even though in reality that's only like 3.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're just so spoiled, but I mean the show was down 11% week over week to 861,000. But it was up 20% up 2% in the. Let me rephrase that again. It was up 11% in the key demos, 18 to 49, with a 2.0 share, which is the highest it's been since it came back.
Mm-hmm.
So
I absolutely think, and you mentioned this a few weeks ago, I think, is putting this on HBO Max and having this on on the days it comes out, having it on that crawl or on the banner that goes through, and one of the first things people see, I think you would get a lot more eyes than people people who wouldn't normally watch it on the CW, because there's a lot of people that there's a lot of people that don't have cable.
I was gonna say there's a big part of the country that doesn't have CW.
Yeah, and there's that too, and there's people that might have it and they're like, I'm not going to watch, I don't watch CW shows and because of what they've seen before. But if you put something like this on an HBO Max platform, some of those people might be more willing to try it because, it's on HBO Max. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to see how many households CW's in real quick while we're talking. But no, you're right. I mean, having it on HBO Max as well, because it was on HBO Max during the I keep wanting to say hiatus, but I think the sabotage of the show.
I 100% believe that. Yes.
That it was it was doing so well. It was one of the few CW shows that was up over 1 million every week, and I mean now, it's still doing. I mean, still like 861,000. Or I'm sorry, 831,000. Let me be correct there. I mean, that's a lot, but it's down 13% from last week. Now, the numbers aren't final. They might go up a little bit, but I mean, they're not going to make up 130,000 viewers.
Yeah.
So
now, are we counted in that because we watch it next day on the CW?
I do not know. I think I'm not 100% sure. I just go to tvseriesfinale.com and they just have the latest numbers. But I mean, it's averaging, like in the demo, it's averaging a 0.22, which is really good. And it's at just over 1 million viewers on average still, because the first, the first 6 episodes did so well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you're not going to convince me that, they didn't try to do that, that they didn't try to sabotage the show. And who knows, like the show is entertaining and it's entertaining everyone. And I haven't heard anyone say they don't like it, for the most part.
I mean, you have people who don't like any of the CW shows for good reason. You have people who used to like The Flash, like me, or like some of the people that I watch who they're saying they're having a hard time watching the Flash because it's gotten so bad.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then they are gushing about this show.
yeah, the Flash did 806,000, which was up 6% from the 759,000 the week before. But here, let's the Flash has not broken a million yet this season. This week it did 806, which was the highest it's been since April 13th, and it has not taken any breaks since it came back in March. It got all the way down to 641, which Superman and Lois hasn't gotten that low. And its highest was the first episode, was the season premiere at 998,000, and that was a 38.5% dip from the previous season. And it dropped to a 3.0 in the demo, which is a 50% drop from the previous season's premiere. And I mean, their demo number is really high for the most part, but the last few weeks it's been 17, 14, 20, 17, 20. So, what was the show? Walker is supposedly the most watched show on the CW right now. And let me find the viewership for that. But I mean, the show is still getting strong numbers, even though it's not huge numbers. But like you were saying, if this was on HBO Max as well, and they have the extended episodes on the app, and if they put that on the on HBO Max, that's just another selling point to get people to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I can't find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Cool. We've kind of fizzled out here. Anyway, yeah, this show 4.5, just like Daryl, is great. It's it's sad that it's taken another couple weeks off. I think it's just, again, shows they should have waited and either just waited till the fall to do it, because it had that COVID co-vacation or coronacation, if you will. But yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's just keeps getting better and better, and it's just, hey, writers, showrunner, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't fall into the CW trap that a lot of these shows have. But I just, yes, July 13th needs to hurry up and come.
Yeah, is it July 13th yet?